Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa Woodcock. I'm a proud independent consultant with Arbon and an area manager. And this,
Is Corinne Price, and I am a proud independent consultant and district manager with Arbon.
we met. When did we meet? We met, gosh, about
Six
26
years ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
2020, I
We
think,
both
isn't
bought
it?
Peloton bikes, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's how we met. It was everyone had gone into lockdown. We bought Peloton bikes, and we met each other in a group along with some other friends, and we just stayed friends. And we just stayed friends. And now we're on holiday in the Cotswolds, which is
Yes,
really
which has
nice.
been lovely.
One of our other friends, Jenny, has just left to go home. And we thought we would jump on and talk to you all about the opportunity which found us a little bit later after we met and that we both absolutely love now. And that opportunity is called Arbon. So back in 20, oh gosh, I don't even know now, 2024, I was in hospital waiting for my second liver transplant due to autoimmune disease, primary biliary cholangitis. And I was thinking, gosh, what happens if I don't survive this? What do I do moving forward? I worked in full-time corporate, still do, working full-time corporate, busy, busy life. And I knew after my first transplant, I was going to struggle to return to the normal that I had before. I've been watching a friend called Danny running a very successful Arbon business, network marketing business. For 4 years, I've been watching her, but she had actually been running it for like 11 years, 10 years at the time. And I thought, she's having so much fun. She's in this amazing community and she's using these energy fizz sticks. Bear in mind, I've got chronic fatigue. She's using these energy fizz sticks, which are clean. It's not processed coffee. It's not a can of Red Bull, which is what I was kind of living on to get by the day to day with the chronic fatigue that I was suffering from whilst trying to do my full-time job in corporate. So I thought I'm going to try some of those. And whilst I ordered some, it gave me the opportunity to start a business. And I'm just one of these people that are a bit like, why not? Figure it out later. So I just joined the business as well. And Danny was like, I think you've joined as a consultant rather than a customer, but I'll sort it out for you later. She was on her way home from Vegas from the Global Training Conference. And the rest is history. So that's how I got into Arbonne. How did you join with this amazing company?
And this is where I step in, where I started off as a consumer and started to use the products because I saw you using them,
Yeah.
piqued an interest in me because I've got a background in health as a nurse and a midwife and have worked in the NHS for the last 25 years and have also got a husband who's had a kidney transplant. I donated one of my kidneys. So it was
Mm.
of real importance to me to kind of look at that health aspect. You'd had a medical team that had okayed all of these products because they're so clean, so chemical free, and I thought I'm going to try them. It was at a point in my life when I needed that little bit of a boost, a little perimenopause, feeling tired, feeling lethargic, and the products were amazing for me, life changing.
Mm.
So that's when you, as a consumer first, I then decided to step into the business. And it was when I stepped into the business that I realized the amazing opportunity that then held.
I love that because I came into it business first. You came into it product first, and it
Yeah.
shows two totally different ways coming from a corporate background and coming from a nurse, NHS, private midwife background. And it's really important to say if you've got your own health conditions, you need to check with your own medical team. The products that I use, I obviously checked with them, and we can supply all the product sheets that you need to do that. Another thing I want to caveat before we get started is actually we've got a website called earnings.arbon.com, and that is going to show you what's typical in this business at each level. Just to quickly talk about that, it shows you what's typical, it shows you what's average. And I don't think we're typical or average, Corinne. We've come into this business, we know it takes a bit of work, nothing's going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the world that's going to give you immediate results overnight, unless you trade your time for money. And that's just going to give you the cash per hour that you're earning, which is basically what we do in our other jobs,
Yeah.
in our, if you like to say, our jobs before we started Arbon.
Yeah.
So earnings.arbon.com to see what's typical and what's average, but that's only if you put average in, you're going to get average results out. Think about joining a gym. If you join a gym and you don't go, what are your results going to be like? If you join a
Absolutely.
gym and you go consistently, you're going to start hitting those goals. So I'm going to try and be somewhat technical, which I'm not. Anybody can do this business. And I would like to share with you a presentation that we're going to talk through all about Arbon and what we saw, the possibilities that we saw within this business. So where are we? Here we go.
So, Arbonne was started by a very pioneering man called Peter Mork, and in 1980 he set up Arbonne. Prior to that, he's a botanist and he was working for a very large successful company that he found were ploughing chemicals, toxins into all of into their products, and he was not happy with that at all. And he wanted to see he wanted to be vegan, cruelty free, less toxins and chemicals that were in all of these manufactured products that he was dealing with. So he set up Arbonne, and really pioneering was clean, vegan, cruelty free, and I'm repeating myself.
It's okay.
So yeah. So and if you think about 1980, these things weren't around, and it was, something that wasn't necessarily at the forefront of everybody's minds.
No.
But he thought, no, this is the business that I'm going for. It was his standards and his, morals that led that. And he also wanted to set up a business that would help people, usual people, much like his mom, because he was raised in a family where it was a single mom and she had four children, and it would empower people to be able to set up their own
Mm.
business and have that clean, toxin-free
Yeah.
business going.
Exactly. He was trendy before his time, wasn't he? Which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
phenomenal. He's no longer with us, sadly, but his son is now within the business and running the business basically, and they've kept it as a family
yeah,
business, which is phenomenal. And we don't work for Arbonne. We are business partners of Arbonne, and we recommend the products. And one of the really important things to Pet and Walk was to keep everything clean. So it wasn't pumping things full to get the margin up. And people were paying premium prices for products that had been filled with something else just so the company could earn more money. He has, in time, B Corp wasn't around in 1980, and neither was I actually. Arbonne is older than me.
not
He,
me.
so B Corp is all about putting people and the planet before profit, and that's exactly what he wanted to do. And then the business Arbonne itself became B Corp later. If you don't know anything about that, then definitely look it up. It's phenomenal. Companies like Emma Bridgewater, Evian, Patagonia, they're all B Corp companies, and you know for a fact you are buying the best of the best, and you're dealing with a company that, as I say, puts the planet and profit before planet and people before profit. And connection was a massive thing. He started this business off as for women, basically, but it's everyone. We have men, women, all within this business. And we are so connected by the community, aren't we? Which is just
Yeah.
amazing. Like the community is something else, and it's something we'll deep dive into a little bit later on. But wellness.
And then, of course, wellness. It is huge. It is worth $7 trillion now and growing constantly. And I think the reason for that is people are sort of taking their own wellness into their
Mm,
own hands a little bit. I think, we're living longer, but we've got so much processed food around, and we're not necessarily leading our healthiest lifestyles, which has just put an amazing impact for the UK on the NHS.
mm,
I'm seeing waiting lists grow increasingly. They're just not going down. Things like diabetes, obesity, they're all on the rise. As a midwife, I'm seeing, lots of situations with pregnant ladies that just aren't very healthy anymore. And so people are really taking those matters into their own hands and thinking, okay, what can I do to make sure that what I'm putting into my body is at its absolute best, and I'm just going to be the healthiest that I possibly can be for
mm.
me, so that I'm not then putting that pressure on the NHS and the waiting times, etc.
Yeah.
So it's really important. I think it's really important for everyone these days.
So it really is, isn't it? And I didn't really start looking at my wellness until I was diagnosed with PBC, and PBC isn't caused by my lifestyle, but even if it was, you're always in this space in life, I think, where suddenly you realize how important health and wellness is, and we kind of grow up, go through teenage years, early adulthood, and we're not really thinking about that, and then suddenly there's something that happens in our life, whether it is you see a photo or you have a diagnosis or something happens to someone that you love, that wellness becomes super important to us, and this is what Arbonne enables. We have got clean, results driven products, and we also are that confident there's a 90-day money back guarantee. We have things in all sorts of areas, running from skincare, which is where Pet and Walk really started out, and we've absolutely moved into that nutrition as well. And our three main bundles that everybody talks about are a 5 step down results advance, which is the best skincare, isn't it? It's
It's so
literally,
good.
you
Yeah.
always know somebody that is partnered or is using recommended products from Arbonne because they literally have a glow about them. It's phenomenal. And then we have our wellness from the inside out, which is our green gut glow, the picture in the middle. It's now been pioneered, innovated even more, and it's in a one sachet, but you can still buy the separates if you wish. And that includes our pre-probiotics, digestive enzymes, our fruits and veggies, and a phytonutrient blend, our skin elixir collagen builder. And it's got everything in there that you need, especially for people like me who are on lots of medications, who've had major surgery multiple times in their life. But even in just today's standards, with all the processed food that's out there and how much we work, like we've got the same 24 hours in a day, but I think we feel even more into it than what we did 10 years ago, certainly 20 years ago, and so on. And then we have our nutrition, clean, conscious, connected. It all falls back to those company values. And we have everything from protein shakes to energy fizz to mind health to inner calm. And there's plenty of other products that we can talk to you about later as well. Let's look at the concept, how this works. So Petamort could have carried on and continued in the traditional fashion, like the first premium brand that he worked for did, or he could change it and he could enable at the time women, but now men and women all over the world globally, to have a better opportunity for themselves. You may not have heard of Arbonne, and that's because we don't market it in a traditional route. So actually, my corporate job is a manufacturer. I'm not the manufacturer, but I work within a manufacturing company. So this top line here actually is basically what I do in my day job. So we have products, they get manufactured, they go to a wholesale, they go to a warehouse. There's a few other steps in here actually that aren't even on this slide. They get advertised, whether that be on billboards, whether it be on social media by paying out influencers who never actually normally use the product. It could be on TV, on radio, however it may be. They go out to retailers, normally brick and mortar or now digital online, and then they end up with the customer. And that much work in the middle of making that product and it getting to the customer, there's so many points there which cost money. And this is why we have these brands that have these price tags because of all the bits that happen in the middle. Petamort removed that. So what we have is these amazing clean products. And then we have people like us who use these products, love these products, and end up talking about these products. And they then ship direct to door. We're not stocking a shop's full worth of stock. It stays with Arbonne. Someone goes onto our own websites, they buy something that we recommended to them, and it turns up at their door the next day. As a thank you, Arbonne then will give us a return for saying thank you for introducing and doing the advertising that these big companies do. But instead, it comes from us to our loved ones and our networks.
And then, so how the business works, it is just a really exciting concept. It's very much a case of, as I did, you start using the products, absolutely love the products. And this is what happened with me. I felt a lot different in myself. People were noticing the difference, and I was talking about the products constantly. I was recommending them. I was saying, "Oh, this green synergy elixir, it's like nothing you've ever known."
That's you and Andy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's got no hair. Um, and then, so initially, dived in, joined the business, thought, okay, well, how big's my network? And I think that's the worry for a lot of people. They're thinking
Mm,
that they haven't necessarily got a very big network. Who can I sell to? I've asked friends and family, but I'm not sure if they're that interested. It just grows and grows. And it can be that, you've got three or four friends that then speak to their three and four friends. I've got, for example, family in Australia, and if they like one of the products, they could talk to their friends. And before you know it, you've actually got a little bit of a part of your business that's growing in a different country. And we'll talk about the different countries a little bit later on. But you see how you just kind of looking at your own network, and then it's just growing into other people's, and it's expanding, and it's expanding that way,
yeah.
through recommendations, which is what we always do anyway when we're sort of recommending a movie that you've watched and you're looking at that Netflix film, or recommending a lovely Airbnb that you've stayed in, that you're
That is fun.
thinking, oh, this was amazing. I'll recommend it. Someone then decides that they're going to book it, but you don't earn anything from it. So this is a thank you really from Arbonne, because you've recommended their products, and so they will give you a little bit of a thank you for that.
Well, we went to a lovely restaurant last night, didn't we? And
Yeah,
we've so I use social media, and that helps my network grow. You don't really use social
not
media.
as
You do
much,
it word of
no.
mouth, and
Yeah.
that it's not just one way that fits all. We all work our business in different ways. We went to a lovely restaurant down the road last night. I've posted it on my social media, and people have already asked me where it is, what kind of food they do, aside from what we had, and that I don't get paid for that. That restaurant aren't going to pay me. They're not going to take anything off my bill. And that's the difference. And for you, you spoke to Andy on the phone this morning. You were telling him how great the restaurant was and that you're going to need to
Mm,
come back to this area. That is exactly what network marketing is. It's marketing something to your network, which is it's super clever.
simple,
It's super
really
simple. And you
simple.
can do it in so many different ways. There's so many different ways to get involved in Arbonne as well. So you can just be a client. You could use one of our links and you could just buy, or you could speak to us and really nicely and we'll give you a discount. You become a preferred client. That's going to unlock some things for you depending on the order. It could unlock your free shipping, it could unlock free gifts, and you're going to have basically us looking after you as your personal shopper, if you like. You could become a replenish me client, which is super savvy, a great way of saving more money. And what that's going to do is it's going to unlock like monthly discounts. If you have a favorite product, like I certainly do, I order that and it comes to me. I order the same way that you will. It comes to me every single month. Every fourth order, I'm going to get a credit into my account off my next order. So it's absolutely brilliant. And there are just savings upon savings that can be made just by reaching out and talking to us or who has asked you to take a look at this video. And then, like us, we took the leap and we jumped in with the business. I jumped in head first with the business, hadn't even tried a product. You'd loved the product and realised actually you were referring everyone to me. You might as well recommend them themselves and get a thank you back from Arbonne yourself, didn't you?
Yeah.
So as an independent consultant, we get even more benefits, of course, and that can be incentive trips. I've been with Arbonne for 2 years. Last year I was in Dubai on the incentive trip. This year I'm going over to Tenerife. That's a five-star, like all expenses paid trip over there. It's going to be amazing. I'm absolutely going to love it. My husband's working away, so unluckily for him, I'm going to have to take a friend instead. But also, one of the most important things for me when I started my business, I was waiting to go in for my second transplant. I knew I was going to an extremely risky operation. The first one was extremely risky. The second one had even higher risks, connected to it. I didn't know if I was going to come out of that theatre. And if I was to reach the second level of business within Arbonne, I knew that my business became willable. If I were to leave my corporate or if I were to pass away, my corporate company would not be sending my wages on to Justin forevermore. Whereas I've built up a client base, I've recommended to enough people that they are buying these products, they love them, they use them every single month. They're going to keep doing that whether I'm here or not. And it's only right that that thank you that Arbonne would have paid me continues onto my family. There are endless benefits. I could talk about them all day long, but there's no point. We can talk about that on a one-to-one basis and find out exactly what is important to you. And so let's have a look at what the earning potential is.
So as Lisa mentioned, go to earnings.arbonne.com in order to see what is typical. But you can earn up to 35% commission on personal sales. And then when you start to recommend people and build up a little bit of a team, then you can earn overrides on your team. So there are four levels of success. You go in as an independent consultant, and then I've reached that first level, which is district manager. The next level is then area manager. That's where your business can become willable. The next one after that is regional vice president. There are also then cash rewards towards a car. And then the top one is national vice president. So varying degrees of how long it can take people to get there,
Mm.
really. It
We're
depends how fast you
It
work, doesn't
does.
it?
And we're running for the top because they get to Maui every single year. And travel is a benefit that I am really excited by. It's not for everybody, but we want to be in Maui, don't
I'd
we?
love to be in
I want to be in
Maui.
Maui every year. And one of the great things about Arbonne is that there's no cap, there's no ceiling, there's no competition. So I've introduced Corinne to the business, but if she works harder and runs faster than me, she can get to Maui before me. I'm not a ceiling for you, am I? And I think that's really important to talk about because a lot of people think who introduces you or the people who get in first are the ones who receive all the benefit. And it's really not the case with Arbonne. It's actually done on a really fair
Yeah,
compensation scheme. So if you want to know more about that, then please just do
yeah.
reach out and ask us.
And as I said earlier about having family in Australia,
Mm.
this company that's been going for 46 years is now in 6 countries and still growing. So it is currently in the UK, in Poland, in the USA, Canada, and Australia.
And New Zealand.
And New Zealand. Yeah.
Did you see that one?
I
I
don't
don't
think I
know if you saw
did. I
that. I
don't
don't
think I
know.
did, did I?
It's all
Sorry
over the
about that, New
place.
Zealand. So anyway, all of those countries, so it is growing rapidly and set to grow further. They are going to announce another country, I think, soon, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. I think there's another two coming soon, so we'll see. But it is growing, and that's the point. I, but to be fair, they say, I can't remember what the statistic was I heard the other day, that Arbonne is only known by something like 1% of Americans. Like that just shows how much it's got to grow. And it doesn't matter how small your network is because a network is, it's infinite. When you speak to somebody, you recommend to one person, they then have great results. They talk to your friends that you've never met and they'll then refer you over, which is basically what you were doing before you joined the business. You
Yeah,
were referring your network to me. And then we were like, Corinne, you should be actually earning the thank you for this. And then because I've introduced you to the business, like you mentioned, I get an
yeah,
override thank you as well. And that doesn't come from what you've earned. That comes from Arbonne. So we're not
yeah.
taking anything off each other. It's just Arbonne saying thank you to us for talking about these products.
And I had the natural worries. I was thinking, I have got such a busy lifestyle with a full-time job as a midwife, children, animals, all the rest of it. But you can really do it in pockets of your time, can't
Yeah.
you? So
Yeah.
it's easy to build up in those bits of time with a busy lifestyle.
Exactly, yeah. And we all get that little notification on our iPhone, don't we, saying your scroll hours this time, like this week, were 5 hours a day. And you're like, oh, it's
Yeah,
like, oh
yeah.
my God, I spent 5 hours scrolling, doing the doom scroll, when you're laying in bed at night. Put that, like, divert that into something which is actually going to, grow your community, your self-development. The self-development in Arbonne is
Oh,
absolutely
yeah.
phenomenal, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
phenomenal. And I've actually made that a transfer. I think everybody does a transferable skill. So you're an entrepreneur. You've got
A midwifery business
yeah,
as
and a
well.
yoga business too. So you've
Yeah.
transferred the skills from Arbonne into those and helped you grow those businesses. And I've transferred it into my full-time employment as a corporate girl. And the benefits of the self-development in the community completely outweigh anything else, in my opinion. So it's not just about an extra income and creating those choices for you and your family. So as we said, a few times, I think, throughout this presentation. If you've got any questions, please do reach out to myself, to Corinne, or anyone that asked you to watch this video. We can't wait to meet you. We can't wait to speak with you. And we will certainly see you soon. Now I've got to figure out how to stop recording this. Like, how does it work? But thank you for being with us. We appreciate you very much. Take care. I can cut that in. How
Going,
do we end it? Stop
is it still
recording.
recording? That's like the little outtake.
Oh my God, record. Stop.
Stop.